Push P. Yeah, push P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Corners in the paddock, get my piece. Push P. Cop new hammers for my P.
I understand that when you're in depression and when something hits you like that, you're not thinking about family, you're not thinking about anything. That's why I tell people all the time, if you can talk to somebody before you make a rash decision, talk to somebody.
Well, listen, when you have now, as a black executive producer, how do you go from being the DJ to being the executive producer of Ellen, the show, and the host?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? So you're already there, and he's such a good. He is a good man.
Good man. Good family man.
Yeah.
So many people loved him. So many people.
Yeah. So you're like, man, you're trying to put together like algorithms in your head. This don't make no sense.
Hello to my beautiful brothers and sisters of YouTube. This is Cree, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. And as always, I truly do appreciate you. So, let's talk about Allison Holker for a minute. Let's have a discussion about her. If you don't know who that is, or if you've been living under the rock for the last couple of weeks, Allison Holker is the widow of the late Stephen Boss, aka Twitch. And if you are living even deeper and further under that rock and don't know who Twitch is, Twitch was the resident DJ and dancer from the Ellen DeGeneres show. That's what he's most widely and most recently known for. He is a dancer and a choreographer as well, and had done that for years before even making it onto Ellen. I think he got his start back in the mid to late 2000s on the show So You Think You Can Dance. In fact, that is where he and Allison first met. And unfortunately, Twitch passed away back in December of 2022, apparently by a self-inflicted gunshot wound, allegedly. And honey, when I say allegedly, I use that term very loosely because I myself don't really believe that it was self-inflicted. I believe there is way more to that story, and I believe Miss Allison Holker knows what happened that night. So at this moment, I'm gonna need y'all to go and pause this video and go grab y'all snacks real quick, and then come have a seat so we can have a conversation, because I might be digging a little bit deeper on this one. I might just do that. So the reason why Twitch is currently in the news again is because a couple of weeks ago, his wonderful, lovely wife, Allison Holker, went on to People Magazine's platform and did an online interview, and I do believe that she will have a magazine article coming out with them as well to promote her memoir that is coming out in the next coming weeks. And the memoir is called This Far: My Story of Love, Loss, and Embracing the Light. So it's supposed to be coming out in February. And she's been basically going on this online podcast tour in the last few weeks promoting this book. And it's the contents that she put in the book that is causing quite a stir, because if you read some of the excerpts in the book, it's not like she's really, it's more so a story of her life, but she's at the same time tarnishing her late husband's name by mentioning the fact that she discovered right before the funeral that he has been taking drugs and all these different types of drugs, weed and pills and other drugs that she didn't understand, so she had to Google it.
There was a moment I was with one of my really dear friends, and we were cleaning out the closet and picking out an outfit for him for the funeral. And it was a really triggering moment for me because there was a lot of things I discovered in our closet that I did not know existed. And it was very alarming to me to learn that there was so much happening that I had no clue. So it was a really scary moment in my life to figure that out, but it also helped me process that he was going through so much.
When she discovered it, when she was cleaning out his closet to pick out whatever they were gonna put on him at the funeral. So they were in the closet cleaning out. It was her and a friend in the closet cleaning out stuff, and they found all this stuff. And then they found a journal that had disturbing images in there, disturbing passages in there, things in the nature of him, being essayed by a male family member when he was a young child, and that traumatized him. So this is like all the stuff that she's saying, but none of this was ever corroborated by his family. They never said anything like that. They are basically saying that she's lying.
You're an old lying witch!
And now they coming out the woodwork with everything. His friends from college, his dancing friends, his brother, even his mother, his cousins, everybody, his mama, everybody came out and spoke out against her and all the craziness and the antics that she's been doing lately. It's bad when the mama had to come out and say something, because we haven't heard anything from the mother, not even when Stephen died. We heard from other family, but you didn't really hear from her. I mean, she made like one post, of course, thanking everybody, but, she wasn't all plastered online. None of his family was like that. The only one that we really saw was Allison. And as we are now discovering, there was a reason for all of that. Because according to Stephen's family and his close friends, they all had to sign NDAs to even attend the funeral. His own mother, his own mama had to sign an NDA just so she could see her baby's body. And Allison, that was all Allison's doing. She made all of them sign NDA agreements just so they could attend the funeral and see his body. Now, what she is saying is, I made them do that so nobody's taking unauthorized photos of him in the casket and posted online. And I mean, that would have been cool if that's all it was, but that wasn't, because apparently in the fine print, even further in the NDA, there was also a clause that no one could talk about him, no one could do an interview about him, no one could write a book about him, or anything of that nature. And if you are doing that, if you do that, then all the money and the proceeds that you make from said interview or book will go directly to Allison. Ain't that a
shit? Yeah, I'm tired of that. It was so disrespectful.
So that's why for the past 2 years, you haven't heard anything from his family, except for like maybe a rest in peace post here and there. Or maybe somebody might mention him in an interview, but you didn't hear from them because they couldn't talk about him. And Allison made sure that if they did talk about him, she was going to get the big payout for it. That's all she really cares about. That's what it seems like to me. It doesn't seem like that there was really no love there. And when I started kind of digging a little deeper and looking into their history and what actually was going on with them, because the narrative that she was painting from the jump is apparently not what it is. And since she started coming out, and once the information about this book started coming out and excerpts started being released about basically the damage that she's doing to her late husband's name, the family was like, F that NDA. F that NDA. I'm telling everything. And honey, they have been telling everything. So I'm probably not gonna read all of that because it's a lot of posts. It's a lot of postings that really rallied for him. So you'll more than likely just see the post running as I'm going through this. So if you need to pause it to kind of read through it, feel free, be my guest, baby. And I even discovered the timeline of events that happened the day that he disappeared up to the moment that his body was found. And basically everything is all on account of Allison, and absolutely none of it made sense. And I'm starting to maybe get a picture of what could have possibly happened. everything that I'm saying, as far as that go, is gonna be alleged. It's nothing has been proven, but I'm just painting the picture of what may have happened, and not that bullshit story that she's trying to convince everybody of what actually happened, which did not. So, in order for everything to kind of make sense, I kind of got to go back to the beginning. I'm trying to get through this as quickly as I possibly can. So, Twitch and Allison met back in 2008 when they were both contestants on the TV show So You Think You Can Dance. Now, prior to them both being on this show, they both had some nice, extensive resumes, both on their own before they made it on this show. Because Twitch, before he got on the show, I think he first got on TV when he was on, what is the name of that show? The Wade Robeson Project. It was a dance competition show that came on MTV back in the day, back in the early 2000s. And he had, had bit parts in movies. Like he was an extra in Blades of Glory. He had been in the Step Up movies with Channing Tatum and all of that. So he was kind of already doing this thing. Allison, she had been dancing pretty much since she was a child. So she'd been dancing all her life. When she graduated high school, I believe before she graduated high school, she had performed in the Winter Olympics in 2002. She had performed with Earth, Wind & Fire before. She danced in the first 2 High School Musicals on the Disney Channel. So yeah, like I said, they were both, coming into this industry in their own right, doing their own thing. And so they got together when they met in 2008 and eventually started dating. Allison came into the relationship a single mom. She had already had, I believe her daughter was like maybe a year old at the time. And after 5 years of dating, they got married in 2013, went on to have 2 more children. In 2014, a year following their wedding, Steven got a job on the Ellen DeGeneres show as a guest DJ. Later on, that guest DJ spot became permanent, and then eventually was promoted to co-executive producer of the show before the show was finally canceled in 2022. And on the outer surface, everything seemed to have been going good until December 12th of 2022. Stephen Twitch Boss is found unalived. Actually, he was in a hotel room. He was found unalived, naked on the bathroom floor of that hotel room. So this is where details start to get a little murky, because it seems like that the timeline of events leading up to the discovery of Twitch's body, it's all on account of everything that Allison has been telling the police and the press. And I'm starting to see inconsistencies or holes in the story that's just not really making a whole lot of sense.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
So here's a story that I was able to gather. So the weekend leading up to his eventual disappearance was apparently their anniversary weekend.
And it's so interesting when I look back, because now there are little signs, but when we were in the moment, everything was beautiful. We wanted to go see her, and everything was blissful, and we were watching, the soccer games and eating room service and going to have drinks together and going to museums. We bought a sculpture together, and everything was great.
So they spent the weekend together celebrating their anniversary. So it's supposed to be all lovey and blissful and all that crap. Monday morning, they get up, get ready, get the kids ready for school. Steven drops off their daughter at school, their oldest daughter, drops her off at school. And then after that, he and Allison were supposed to meet up that morning to go to the gym together. Well, they're supposed to meet at the gym, rather. So So apparently while Allison is at the gym waiting on him to show up, he decides to go back home, calls this specific hotel in Encino, California called the Oak Tree Inn, and asks if they have any vacancies. He then leaves to go to this motel, but he does not leave in his car. He leaves his car at the house and he takes an Uber to that motel. So he goes to the motel, goes to the front lobby, checks in, goes into his room, and never comes out. Meanwhile, Allison's gone on about her day like nothing's wrong. So when she realizes that Steven's not coming to the gym, she, I guess, calls, leaves messages, and he's not responding to her. And so she, instead of freaking out and worried, she just goes on about her day like normal. So all through the day, all through the night, he ain't came home, he ain't called, he ain't checked in, he ain't did none of that. So she goes to bed alone that night. Now you would think after having this blissful weekend for their anniversary together just a couple of days prior, you know, things would have been good. If my husband ain't coming home, I'm calling, I'm checking, I'm calling somebody, I'm calling everybody to see what the hell goes on. But I guess for whatever reason, she wasn't worried about none of that though. So she gets up the next morning, December 13th, goes on about her day, gets the kids ready for school. Still haven't been able to get a hold of her husband. It's been a whole 24 hours now. You haven't said anything to your husband. You ain't spoke to your husband, not at all, not one time, to see where he at, to see if he all right, anything. But after she dropped the kids off, she goes back home to quote unquote look for clues to see where he may have gone. And so then, in looking for these clues, she stumbles upon a letter that apparently he had typed out 2 weeks prior on the nightstand, indicating something about committing himself to going to rehab for his weed and alcohol addiction. Who the hell going to rehab for weed? Who doing that in 2022? Wasn't weed legal in 2022? So when we start going to rehab for that? Okay. Okay. All right. Let me move on. It's only after she reads that typed up letter that she realizes, maybe I need to go to the police and file a missing persons report. So it wasn't the day before when you ain't talked to him all day. It's when you find this crazy letter that you decide, oh, okay, well, maybe I should report him missing then. Yeah, exactly. So she contacts the police department, reports them missing, begs and urges them to find him because something must have happened to him. And I know what y'all probably thinking, well, maybe she thought she had to wait a certain amount of time before filing the missing persons report, because you know in some states you have to wait at least 24 to 48 hours before reporting the missing. Well, not in the state of California. In the state of California, there is no waiting period. You can file whenever. So she honestly should have filed when she didn't hear from him, at least by that night. I ain't talked to you since 7, 8 o'clock this morning, and here it is 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I still ain't heard from your ass. No, you should have went to the police then. So anyway, the police get to their house. They searching all over the house for evidence or clues of where he might have gone. They come across a lockbox in their bedroom. Open the lockbox, discovers that the gun is missing. They ask Allison, does she know where the gun is? And instead of answering their question of where the gun is, she immediately goes into, oh my God, maybe he's at rehab. So now she gets on her phone and starts calling all these different rehab facilities, trying to see if he is there. And you know, these facilities, you know, they have to follow, you know, HIPAA laws, confidentiality laws, so they can't disclose that information over the phone or whatever. But they did say, hey, well, we can't tell you if he's here or not, but if he is here, would you like to leave a message for him? So instead of him saying, yes, this is his wife and I'm just trying to check on him and see if he's there, she says, no, you don't have to leave him a message. He probably doesn't want to be bothered. So you're calling around acting like you're checking on your husband, but then don't want to leave him a message for him to contact you back after you have not talked to him in over 24 hours at this point, after y'all had this blissful anniversary weekend just leading up to him disappearing. Yeah.
You lying ass bitch.
So honestly, all that's really telling me is that once the police found that empty gun case, that she had to hurry up and come up with some kind of story or some kind of plan that, oh, well, maybe he went to rehab, and then, brought up this quote unquote typed commitment letter of him going to rehab to get the alcohol and weed thing taken care of, to get treatment for that. So when she actually does call the rehab facilities, the police already got it in their mind. This black man using drugs. That's all that is. So when they eventually did find his body in that hotel room later on in the evening, that's what they're gonna attribute it as. Oh, well, he killed himself because he did this and he did, because he did drugs. That's all it is. So that's pretty much what happened. But here's what doesn't make sense to me. So what doesn't make sense is that he would just up and leave in an Uber to go to a hotel, to a random motel that's like 15 minutes from your house, just to go and check into a room just to shoot yourself. That doesn't make sense. I've not heard of anything like that happening. However, I have heard of people possibly driving to a hotel or any other location, not in their car, using a different car, or having somebody to maybe take them to that specific location if you were maybe trying to catch your significant other cheating. I've heard of that. Hell, I've even done that myself. Yeah, I've absolutely heard of people doing that. You don't want to drive up in your car and you just so happen to get spotted and may get tipped off, or the other person that you looking for may get tipped off that you up there. So yeah, you gotta be inconspicuous. You gotta be stealth. You gotta think ahead. Your woman is going to this specific hotel. Yeah, I can definitely see that being the case. And he probably went up there to check to see if there was vacancies for room, just so he can see what's going on. That makes a little more sense to me than the cockamamie story that she tried to cook up to the police. That's all I'm saying. And then everything that she's done between then and now is questionable. And I really tried to give her grace in the beginning, and I really tried to be empathetic to her situation, because a lot of y'all know, I was a widow too. So I know what being in that headspace is like, and I definitely understood what she was going through. And so, like I said, the way she was moving, the way that I'm seeing that she moving, like I said, it gave me the side eye in the beginning. But like I said, I try to give her grace, because I'm like, you know what? Everybody grieves differently. Everybody processes death a little different. So just because it's not necessarily what I would do, I can't, pass judgment on to somebody else. But still, in the back of my mind, she was just off to me. It's like she made his death her time to shine, her show. It was the Allison Holker show featuring tWitch boss. That's the vibe that I was getting. She wants to paint this narrative as the grieving widow that's being brave and strong for her kids, and she's doing a damn good job of rearing the kids by herself, since it's just her now. And in a sense, kind of wants everybody to forget about him, because, well, he chose to leave us by ourselves. He chose to leave us, so that's the life that he chose. So now look at me. That's what I'm getting.
There's been a lot of questions about why I don't post about Steven, and the truth is, it hurts me to sometimes look back and see pictures. It's very triggering. It was such a beautiful time, but then the stories have kind of turned and changed. And it's also really important in my healing journey that people start to see me as me without him. And it's really important for people to see my children as individuals without him, because that is the reality now.
And the fact that she made everybody in his family and all of his friends sign NDAs so they wouldn't talk about him, but she didn't have to sign an NDA. So she can talk about him and go on interviews and talk about him all that she wants and then write a book. Yeah. You can't convince me that that wasn't the motive. That wasn't the motive this whole time. I honestly believe that when they got together, her resume was a little bit more extensive than his, so she wanted to make it out here and be this big, famous, world-renowned dancer, but instead, tWitch ended up getting the shine. He ended up becoming more popular. Once he got on Ellen, he pretty much was known by everybody. Everybody watched Ellen. I mean, not me. I didn't watch it like that, but everybody watched Ellen. So he was the one that had the popularity, the career, the friends, and she was just eventually downgraded to reduced rather, to just being tWitch's wife. And I don't think she liked that. I think she was very resentful towards him for that. She wants all the attention. She wants everything to be about her. And now, with tWitch out the way, now it can be all about her. Hence why I believe she wrote this book, to paint all of these negative things about him so people can look at him in a bad light. So they be like, oh, well, you were so brave. You were so brave to put up with what you had to put up with him. And that's what I'm getting. That is exactly what I am getting. It's given very, very strong Phil Hartman vibes. If you know anything about Phil Hartman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The only difference is she didn't turn it on herself. She didn't unalive herself in the process. That's the only difference. But that's exactly what it's given. The way that she treated her in-laws, her husband's family after he passed, I never in a million years would have did that to my husband's family. I never would have did that, because they were my family too. They were that support that I needed after he passed. So I'm like, why would I do them dirty like that? Why would I keep my kids away from his family? She kept her kids away from him. They have not seen his family since his passing 2 years ago. They haven't seen him. She alienated them. The kids, from his family, so she can have them all to herself. She wanted them to have absolutely no contact, no relationship with it. That's what she wanted, because she wanted everything to be about her. Classic narcissistic behavior at its finest. And furthermore, how can you paint this narrative that he was on drugs, or that he was getting treatment for drugs, when the tox screen came back completely clean from his autopsy report? He had absolutely no drugs or alcohol in his system, not even weed. And weed stays in your system for a long time, up to 90 days after you've last smoked. And so for that to come back clean, what weed was he smoking? What was he smoking? Because you and your daughter done put it out there that, oh, he goes out and smokes every night. Well, apparently he didn't for at least the previous 90 days. But I do know that she had an alcohol problem. She had a drug problem. She had all that stuff going on with her. But now you want to divert all of that and put all of that on him, when it's clear he wasn't doing any of that. But you were. She's gotten arrested several times for public intoxication or some kind of drug use. How many times has he been arrested for drug or alcohol use? Exactly. Oh yeah, and then there's one last thing. So in her book and on this interview, she alludes to the fact that prior to the funeral, she and a friend were picking out clothes for him to wear at the funeral, and she just so happened to come upon this shoebox of a cornucopia of substances and paraphernalia and everything. So my question is, where's the friend? Where the friend at? Where is this friend that helped you clean out this closet and witnessed all this? That's who we need to talk to. We done talked to everybody else. We done talked to his family, his friends. Your daughter seemed like the only one that's on your side is your daughter, which I don't even know why she's even involved in this. She should be sitting over there in the corner eating her food. But we heard from everybody else, but we ain't heard from this quote unquote imaginary friend that supposedly helped you and found these drugs with you. Where's she at? Maybe because the bitch don't exist? Yeah. Like I said, everything that she's come out with is like holes, is constantly being poked in her story. And then you got to stack a lie on top of another lie. It's going to get to the point where you're going to forget all the lies that you told. And your stuff is really going to blow up. See, the police at this point, they need to reopen that case. They going to need to reopen that case because I'm sure they're going to definitely find some things that was not there before. And I'm like, the sooner they do it, the better. Because I'm like, it's been 2 years now. More time is going to go by. People ain't going to remember nothing or nothing like that. They need to reopen this shit back up. And I'm going to just say this. I'm not accusing nobody of doing anything. But if she didn't do it, she know who did. She know exactly who did. It's OJ all over again. If he didn't do it, he know who did it. So does she. She know who did it. And I guarantee you she was there. Because I guarantee you he was there to catch her doing something she ain't had no business doing. This pretty picture that she wants to paint of them having this loving, blissful marriage, you know, is all a lie. All lies.
That's a lie! That's a lie! That's a lie! Is a lie! That's a lie! That's not true!
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
But anyway, that's all I got to say on the matter for right now, because I've been babbling on this. But it's a lot. It's a lot of layers to this, and this stuff on here that I haven't even talked about that's still coming out. So it's just, I don't know. I may touch on this topic again sometime later on. But I'm just gonna wrap it up here for now, and y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this, if y'all have any thoughts on this at all. And yeah. Let's talk about it. Yes, Lord. Anyway, if you have made it this far, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see y'all in the next video. My name is Cree Cree. You know what to do. Y'all be easy.